welcome to IRL GT4 summer season. It is round 5 and it's Goodwood. And what a race we will have today with our with the winner of the last 3 races, Aaron Timberlake, out for this one. Will we see Jeremy finally getting back into first, or will we see Jack finally getting his first victory after a couple of second places where he's really shown that he has the pace to do it, but he's just kind of haven't been able to get that win yet. We will find out shortly, but for the moment it is quality time, and we can see that pretty much everyone is out on track. And I believe the first driver to start his lap is Marcel Holler in his BMW. As he runs a little wide, and that's a spin in the first corner. We'll have a look at the next driver then, as that is Jack in his beautiful 458 Italia. So I do have on good authority that he should like this track pretty well. I know he's quick around it, so he would have to be the champion. He would have to be the favorite for this race, although that it still remains to be seen. See Jack here coming into the final few corners, running a little wider. Small chicane, catches a little grass there, but it will be a 1:14.7 to start it off. And by that we'll have a look at Jeremy, who just finished his lap, but he's 7/10 behind Jack at the moment. In the meantime, behind there we have Chris Ryan at second off Jeremy. Then we have Jared Fosbury, who's out on a good lap at the moment. I do not see his teammate today yet, but he might be just running a little late. So we see that Jared is now coming into the last part of his lap. Will it be quick enough, or will it be behind? As we see that Jack seems to have improved his time by 2/10. In the meantime, Fosbury is doing a 17.6 and is far off at the moment. Here we have another long-awaited driver though, Paco Suarez, who is doing his first race of the season today, and he is driving in his Corvette, so not really sure what to expect from him. I don't think he will be up there together with Jeremy and Jack, most likely. Oh, as he runs wide in the last chicane there. Another driver we can expect to see a good race from today is Marcel, as he has been up there. He have, however, when he's coming to the line, and it's not gonna be good enough yet. It's a 16.4, almost 2 seconds off our leader. Chris has improved his time a little though. But you see Chris there as he's catching the Team Calsonic driver of Jeremy. Looks like Jeremy might have been a little in the way there. And Chris seems to then have given up his lap. And as we switches over to Jack, he has managed to pull out a stunner of a 14 flat. So he is definitely looking like the driver to beat today. Jeremy has the closest one, and he is 1.5 seconds off. Although he should be starting a new lap right now, so let's have a look what he will do. One thing is for sure though, he will have to have a massive improvement on his lap to be even close. Oh, as he runs wide, he's able to control it though. But that is a bad start for his lap. And there's a slow running Corvette right before the end of the lap. That is Paco Suarez, and he goes straight into the pit now as we get a look at Marcel Holler just bumping Paco into the pit. See that Jack is on an outlet up of the moment. We see Jeremy, however, he did not improve on his lap. What about Chris Ryan? He should have just started the lap, I believe. I also believe I saw someone fly off in the background there, but we're gonna follow Chris Ryan at the moment. As he goes. Oh, and that's a mistake, and that is wide, and that is his lap over. And I think that's pretty much gonna be the story of the race today. We're gonna see drivers off everywhere as we see Fosbury in the gravel. Not his finest moment there. What about Lance LeBrun? He's 17 thousandths off Fosbury. We haven't had much of a look on Lance yet, so we're gonna follow him to the end of his lap. But it looks like ooh, and there he goes into a 360, and that is his lap done and over. However, he will be starting a new lap, so we will continue watching him for a moment as we see him into this first corner trying to get as much speed as possible. However, right now he has Jeremy right behind him, and Jeremy has also started his lap, so we could see some chaos in quali here. no, Jeremy's just staying behind as Lance is up on his time at the moment. Running a little wide on the exit of that corner, but he's keeping his car on track. And he seems to be on a good lap right now, so... But the question is though, can anybody challenge Jack, as I am noticing that he has done a 13.8 at the moment. So he's improved his lap once again. As we see Lance and both Jeremy going into the last chicane. Lance is gonna do a 16.8, which puts him 5th at the moment. Jeremy jumps into the pit. What about Chris Ryan? He's just started this lap. Gets well through this first corner. We can see Fosbury in the background too. And Fosbury is also on the lap, so we'll follow these two for this lap as we see that Chris is taking a lot of curb there. Slings his car into the corner, but he's wide and off we go. Fosbury on the other hand manages to get well through that corner. Gets a tiny slider. And good day to you, Ivan, saying come on Fox. I'm gonna guess you are thinking about Lance then. As we see that Jared is currently 9/10 up on his time, so it's definitely gonna be an improvement as long as he can keep his car on track. In this last chicane, looks like he took it a little too cautious there, but he gets through it, and it's gonna be a 16.1 and a big improvement from Jared there, but he still sits in 5th. And we can see that the gap between the top two is still 1.5 seconds from Jack down to Marcel. Marcel, however, is out on the lap, so we will see if he can improve his lap, if he can challenge Jack. He is up. But will he be able to finish up though? As he's going wide in the last chicane there. Has he lost all of the momentum? He lost time, but he still did an improvement and did a 15 flat. But that's still 1.2 seconds off Jack. What about Jeremy? He seems to be on a good lap right now. As he's coming into this last chicane, it's a tight one. He seems to get a nice and clean run through there, and it's a 15 flat, and he still sits in 3rd, just behind Marcel then. And Fosbury also made a good improvement on his last lap with a 15.4, which puts him 4th at the moment. As we see Jared going off the track right into the barrier, and I believe we're gonna see that more today. What about Marcel? Oof, Marcel losing it in the last corner, goes right into the pit. Jeremy though, he's still out. He's looking to improve his lap. He wants that pole position. He's up on his time at the moment, but not by a big margin. As he goes into this tight chicane at the end. Once again, it looks nice and tidy. And it's gonna be a 15 flat again. So about 400 improvement there, which puts him 4 thousandths behind second place Marcel. As we see that Jack is out again, looking to improve. He's done a 13.8 so far. Can he do more? Can he do a better lap than that? I guess we will have to wait and see. We will take a look at Jack as he is about to start another lap, and what can he do this time? Throwing that Ferrari into the first corner. Looks like he's able to carry a lot of speed through there. He should be coming up to the first split about now, and he's up on his time once again. Oh, he gets well through that corner into this double right-hander right now. So we can see that he's looking very much on the limit, but also very quick at the moment. Coming up to the second split here, as he's still up on his time. As he comes into this right-hander. Just the last chicane now. And he runs a little bit wide, and that will probably have messed up his lap then. It has, but he's actually able to go quicker than he's done so far. And that's a little scary for the race. But Marcel though, he's done a better lap now with a 14.6. And we can see that Jeremy is in the last sector now, trying to improve his lap. So we will maybe see these drivers getting closer, as he does with a 14.3. But that is still half a second off Jack. What about Lance? He's up on his time. Yeah, it doesn't look like he's up on his time after all. And we can see that somebody is having issues in the pit. That is a weird looking pit stop. And Jack seems to have been off track, or he's just waiting for the quali to be over, maybe. As we can see that Marcel, we can see that, my god. And then quali should be over. We see that Jack is currently just waiting. Well, Marcel kind of seems like he's on a lap right now, but and Jared is still having an abysmal pit stop. And we're waiting. And I believe we are only waiting on Jared. Seeing Marcel take a detour onto the grass. And that is quali finished, and on to the race we go. And what a race it should be. It's a short track. And we can see Jack in pole position, trying to hunt down his first win of the season. As we see that the start goes, and it looks like a good start from Jeremy. It is a good start from Jeremy, but not good enough to challenge Jack. That just leaves Jeremy with a compromised line into turn 1 then. But we can see that Jeremy is now under attack from Marcel. The BMW trying to close up to that Nissan. Oh, and look at this. Marcel, he wants to get past, but he can't really find a way right now. On the other hand, it looks like Jack has made a mistake. He is now under attack from Jeremy. And that is Jeremy up to first, and we can see that Jack is taking a slowdown penalty, which puts him down in the third at the moment. There's still 21 more laps to do. Oh, as we see Jeremy going off track and into the barrier. That leaves Marcel in first position at the moment. I know for a fact that Marcel is hungry for a good result today, and a win is what he wants. A podium is the least he'll take, I imagine. We can see though that Paco Suarez has been off track now too. Fosbury is doing a good race so far. He's up to third position. It looks like Jared might be on for one of his best races so far this season, as we can see that he's flashing his hazard lights as usual. But we can see that Jack is going with a stunning outside move against Marcel, and past he is right before the last chicane. But with a bad exit there, we see that Marcel is right back on Jack's rear at the moment. Jack is trying to drive a little defensive here to not let Marcel find a gap. Looks like that BMW has a little oversteered through that first corner. Further down the field, we can notice that Jeremy seems to try to be working his way up to the rear of Lance. Ooh, as we see a lot of oversteer from Marcel, I believe. But what about Jeremy though? Can he work his way up to the podium? We've seen it before this season with Jeremy. And what about Fosbury? Can he keep his third position? Because he's doing a great race so far. But we can see that he has a charging. Ooh! Chris Ryan is charging behind Jared, but he almost sent himself into the barrier there. That is not the way to make up time. What about Jeremy? We can see Jeremy here at the back. He's Now he's probably just driving steady lap times to try to work his way up to the front of the field. He's about 12.5 seconds behind the leader. Paco, on the other hand, is struggling massively, and he has been off track once again, and it does not look like this is his race. The Corvette does not seem like it's the best car for this track. It is to be said though that Paco is the driver with the least experience out of all these in his car and this series, so you gotta start somewhere. And we can see that Jack has pulled out the gap of 2 seconds down to Marcel. As he sets the fastest lap of the race with a 14 flat, and we're almost down to the lap time he did in quali. As we see, Paco is off track. I think he this time went off track to get out of the leader's way. As we can see that Jared is impressing at the moment. He's almost keeping up with Marcel. He wants this podium position, and it could spice up the championship with Jeremy a little further down there, Jack up in first, Marcel in second, and Jared Fosbury in third. We can see that I'm not entirely sure what has happened with Chris, but he's lost a lot of time down to Mr. Fosbury ahead of him. He's also lost time to his teammate, although his team... Oh, and mentioning Lance, he's off track. And that will put him under immediate pressure from Jeremy Pope, as he is closing up to that lead right now. And that is a battle, ladies and gentlemen. Jeremy against Lance. We've seen this before. Ooh, and what has happened up ahead? We can't watch that right now. But it looks like... it looks like Jack has made a mistake. But we can see that Jeremy and Lance is going side by side. Jeremy on the inside right now. He's keeping it, and he has gotten past Lance, but Lance is coming back at Jeremy, and Jeremy goes wide into the grass. And he stays off to avoid hitting Paco. He's able to control his car though, but he has lost time. Oh, and look at this. It's a feisty battle for second right now, as we can see that Jared loses his back end, and Jack sneaks ahead of Jared into the chicane, but he loses the car on the exit on the grass there, which puts Jared up in second for the moment, and Jack down in third. However, there is a lot of laps left. We've seen that Jack is the quickest around here, and I would be surprised if he doesn't manage to get himself past Jared again. And Jared with those hazard lights still flashing. Oh, and look at this. Jack is trying to carry a way more speed through the corners than Jared. We can also see that he's right on the rear of Fosbury right now. And look at this, he just carries way more speed through that corner. He goes on to the side of Fosbury. He will, however, have the outside lane for this next corner. Will he make it work though? He's both brakes late. They try to leave each other space, and it's a crash, and both are on the grass. They do manage to keep driving though, and what a moment there. It's a small touch leading into both drivers on the grass. Looks like Fosbury is weaving a little, as he showed that he's not happy with that. Gotta say, from my perspective, it looked like it didn't look like anything, like anyone did anything wrong. He was just tight to make that move there. But Jack up to second again. Ooh, as we look at Jared trying to kind of get a little more speed through some of these corners. However, it looks like his driving line through some of these corners isn't good enough to carry through the speed he wants. And we can see that Jack is instantly picking up pace, charging down Marcel. And we can see that down the field Jeremy has catched up to Lance again. And we're gonna see Jeremy try to find a way past Lance again. As they come into this last chicane now. We can see the drivers taking slightly different lines as we see that Jeremy dives into the pit. We can see that Chris is also in the pit at the moment. As we can see that Suarez is saying sorry for the issues he caused. I'm not made for GT. Nah, you hang in there, Paco, and we'll get the hang of it. And we can see that Jared is no longer able to keep with Jack. And Jack is taking 10th after 10th on Marcel right now. Marcel knows that he has been gifted an opportunity to take this victory now with Jack making a few mistakes. However, there is over half the race left, as we can see that both Marcel and Jack dives into the pit. There goes Jared into the pit too. Lance is in the last chicane now. Will he go into the lead then? He's not going into the pit, and he will be in the lead for the moment. What about these drivers in the pit? And what about Chris? Chris already made his pit stop. But we can see that both Marcel and Jack is already out, and we can see that Jack closed in a lot in the pit stop on Marcel there. That might have also been on pit entry. We can see that Jared is still well ahead of Chris Ryan. Jeremy, on the other hand, is still at the back struggling. Ooh, as he goes wide here and into the grass, and it doesn't look like it will be Jeremy's day. What about Lance? He's still yet to make his pit stop. Staying out longer than everybody else. Can he make these lightly fueled laps really count and maybe catch some time? Into the last chicane, he's still, and there he goes into the pit, and we can see that Jack is hounding Marcel right now. Last chicane, and you can see that Marcel gets a bad exit, Jack gets a good exit, and they're going side by side on the start-finish straight. But Jack has gotten past before the first corner. And look at this, Jack is not out of it though. Marcel is right in his slipstream right now. And look at this. Marcel is trying to find a gap, but he doesn't seem to be to find one. He's close, but Jack is just driving immensely fast at the moment. And we can see that Lance is stuck in the pit and something's happened. Well, the lobby has gone down, so I'm a little confused right now to anyone watching. It might have actually been Jeremy lagging out as he is the host. Well, I'm gonna keep the stream up for the moment until I know anything more. Well, I don't know yet. We might I'm not sure if we're gonna leave the results as they were when we ended them. If that is the case, then shall we see? So if we're ending the race where it was, I believe Jack will be the one with the win ahead of Marcel and Jared, then Chris, and I'm not sure who would get 5th and 6th out of Jeremy and Lance. If that's not the case, I assume it will be probably a 10 lap rolling start race. But I can't say for sure. Well, well, well. Well then, for anyone who's watching, it looks like we're either ending it halfway with the result we had at the moment then, or it looks like there will be the last of 11 laps driven. Guessing we will start then with the order they were in before that. Almost halfway. Start doing the last laps. Then we're just gonna have to wait for the lobby to be up. As I can see that Chris is complaining about Jared leaving his hazards on, that they being distracting. Well, maybe that's the point. Maybe he's trying to throw everyone off to get a small edge as he isn't the fastest one. Or as he says, it could just be a habit. Not cool. I'm calling it. Jared is definitely trying to distract people with his hazards light. Just wait and see. When we get into the lobby again, they're still gonna be on because of his so-called habit. And I've found the lobby, so to you guys in the chat and everybody else, you know who you are. The lobby is up. Jared wants first. You're not getting first, Jared. Don't get ahead of yourself. And we have Jeremy, we have Jared, Lance, Chris, and I am pretty sure we'll see Jack join in a moment. And look at that, I should be a psychic. So that is 5 drivers. Who's missing? Marcel. And there we have Marcel too. So with Paco retiring, I believe we should have everyone here then. And we can see that Jack is out on track. We can also see Marcel out on track. And we can see no, not Marcel, but we can see Jack spinning. So it looks like we have some time before the race go underway, so we can just admire these cars for a moment then. Well, except for that Mercedes. Waiting. Oh, as we can see that Marcel takes the detour onto the grass. And what a lap by Jack there, a 1:29 flat. have seen better. And it looks like some drivers are discussing where they were. Just a matter of moments, I would guess now. Let's have a look at some donuts, as Jeremy has started final and we will be going on our way again to the last final 11 laps of the race. You can see the grid lined up with Jack in first, Marcel in second, Jared Fosbury in third, Lance LeBrun in fourth, Chris Ryan in fifth, and Jeremy Pope in sixth position at the moment. And away we go, and it looks like a good start from Jared and Lance this time. Right now it looks like it's Jared having to defend from Lance. We can see that Jack seems to have had a good start once again. Everybody staying tightly together right now, but we can see that Jared looks to be on attack to get Marcel. A little in that area. Ooh, as Marcel gets a small drift there. And we can see that Jack seems pretty comfortable right now. Chris on the other hand is under attack from Jeremy. It's Confox against Team Kelsonic. And it looks like Jack has made a mistake. He is down to fourth position right now. But we have seen his pace earlier. We know that he has what it got to get himself up again. As we get a glimpse of his helmet inside the car there. Look at this. And look at Jack, he's looking feisty, almost about to pass Lance, but he's on Lance's outside at the moment. But he manages to make Lance take a tight entry to that corner, compromises Lance's exit onto the straight. Jack is now side by side with Lance, as we can see that Mr. Fosbury has his hazard light on as usual, and we can see that Jack and Lance is still going side by side, and Jack is passing Lance. Going into the last chicane, there is a touch between Lance and Jack is in the grass and into the pit actually. So that is an interesting strategy choice by Jack. sub-marshal Attic Boy. And we can see that leaves Marcel now in the lead already. 1.5 seconds ahead of Jared, actually 2 seconds already. And we can see that Jeremy has gotten past Chris. He's now on a charge to catch Lance. And what about Jack? He seems to have made some kind of strategy that I'm not sure why he did, but it could be a good one. It might be a matter of actually having enough fuel to the end. We will see later on, as we can see that Jared has been passed by Lance, and it's Lance up to second. Maybe we'll see Lance get the best result of the season, as he's now getting hounded by Fosbury. And we can see Jeremy now right behind Fosbury too, so it's a three-way battle at the moment. And look at it. Oh, and Lance gets a bad line, clipping the inside grass. That leaves him vulnerable, as Fosbury is looking for a move around his outside. Tucks back in. And now Fosbury is getting attacked by Jeremy Pope. Jeremy seems to be able to get past. And he is past. Fosbury seems to be going a little wide on the exit there too. And now we can see that Jeremy is starting his hunt on Lance. Oh, but there Jeremy jumps into the pit, same does Chris. The 3 other runners are still going though. While Jack... There is Jack. He is now ahead of Jeremy. Oh, as Jeremy almost loses it completely. What about the 3 drivers ahead? When will they pit and where will they come out? Right now we can see that it's not really close between the front drivers. There is gaps between everyone behind too. Jax is certainly looking to pull out some good laps right now to try to, if not jump the 3 front cars, at least get as close as possible before starting their last stint. We can see that Jack's fastest lap at the moment is a 14.1. And we can see Jeremy now pitting. Again. Interesting. But Marcel is in the lead and he is extending his gap down to Lance. Team Jägermeister leading the race at the moment, ahead of Team Confox. The Fox himself behind the wheel. And Marcel has made some mistakes now, because you can see that he is losing time at the moment. Going into the final chicane here. Both drivers still staying out. Jared is also staying out at the moment, so we're not seeing any of these top 3 drivers pitting yet, but we can see that Jared is losing time to Jack behind him. So it's obvious that Jack at the moment is. And you are correct there, Marshall. Make sure to subscribe to this channel for more F1 and GTS action. There will be regularly 1 to 3 races a week after the summer. We can see that Jack seems to be driving quick right now. He's done another best lap over 14 flat. Marcel on the other hand is still in first, but the gap is only around 1.7 seconds down to Lance LeBrun at the moment. So you can see the 2 drivers going into this chicane again. Still not pitting with 4 laps left. I think we might see these drivers trying to carry it out to the end. Well, I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that, Jay, considering it should have been a 22 lap race, so it started as that. Then our host Jeremy lied out, so we had to do the last 11 laps in this lobby, so I'm not entirely sure, but we can see now that Jack is up to third again. 6 seconds behind Lance. And Lance only just above a second behind Marcel right now. It's 3 laps left and we have yet to see these 2 drivers pit, and they are not pitting on this lap. Jack behind though, he's pulling out strong laps now, down in the 13.9. Jared not really able to stay with Jack. Ooh, and Lance has made a mistake, and we can see that Jack is right on his tail now. The gap up to Marcel though is 5 seconds. So unless Marcel pits, I don't really think he will catch, and right now I don't really know if he has to pit or not. And Marcel is not pitting, he's gonna try to stretch this to the end. Lance, however, he has realized that he will not be able to stretch it to the end, so he's pitting, which leaves Jack in second, and Jack is catching heavily on Marcel right now. With 2 laps left, will that be enough to make Jack actually catch up to Marcel? He can see Marcel in the distance right now. There is only 3.8 seconds. Jack is really giving it his all right now to chase down that first victory. As they come on to a longer straight, we can see that the gap is only 2.8 and it's sinking quite quickly on the straight there. Does Marcel have enough fuel to do that last lap, and will he have to do it all while saving fuel? Because if he do, I think it will be hard to keep Jack behind, and as we can see that Jack is below a second behind these behind Marcel now and is closing up quickly going into the first corner. If Marcel can't push right now, I don't think he will be able to retain his first position, as we see them heading onto this straight, and you can see that Jack just has way more pace right now. Marcel has nothing to fight with as he's saving fuel. And right now we don't have any battles, so we're gonna watch Jack around on his last lap right now. It's gonna be his first win of the season after a number of second places. Marcel tried to stick it out in and save fuel, but the strategy has not worked. As we can see, Jack coming in to the last chicane for the last time. It's gonna be Jack in first with his first victory, and look at this, he's definitely happy with that too. And what a finish we got, and we can see that Marcel looks to have run out of fuel right before the line too. We gotta give it to Marcel too though, he tried something different. It did not work out in the end. Jared has come home to a strong third place finish for him today. Jeremy seems to be able to save fourth position, but that is really not what he wanted with Aaron Way, who's been dominant for the last 3 races. So we're gonna have... Oh, Lance is glitched in the pit. So I'm not actually alright, that is a little confusing. But it is definitely Jack's first victory of the season. And I don't think any of the others' victory has been as needed as this one was for Jack. He's been up there every time, but he has not gotten that win before today, and what a race we got in the end, especially with that finish. And as for my driver of the day, as I usually mention mine, I will be going with Jack, as he had a few mistakes there. He lost his first position a few times, but he pulled it out of the bag in the end and just got that win. A really stunning win in the end. And by that, I don't think there is much more to mention right now. If you'd like to watch more, you can actually watch the IRL summer season for F1 starting tomorrow at 4:30 PM. First track should be Bahrain. As for the GT4 summer season, the next race will be next week around, I never remember how to pronounce this, Tsukuba, something like that. It will be at 6 PM as usual on Saturday. For now, I've been your host, Sondre Sorhaug, aka C3. This has been IRL GT4 round 6 around Goodwood. The win went to Jack. Make sure to subscribe and like if you want to watch more. Good night, and thank you to everyone who's watched.